Here. Welcome back to the Hub. We are on part 2 of our relationship and love series with my dear Philly girl, phenomenal woman, Riana Milne. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
Yeah, so we're talking about some heavy stuff, and we're going to, again, dive into some really serious topics, but you have to really go back to our first episode where we talked about some serious things and traumas and how that relates to your life today and every relationship. It's not just love relationships. I mean, it's friendships. It really
Success
pours.
in life, everything. Success in life and love.
Right,
That
and it pours
everything.
into everything that you're doing. And you were you're so good at this because you've done this for so long. I mean, Rihanna's has 2 books here that I absolutely love this book. This is one of my favorites. And I tell everybody that they have to really read this.
Thank you.
And I'm on the love.
This is about the mindset for success.
Which we all need.
Dreams.
We all really need this,
Yes.
right? So
Getting through difficult transitions. How to think instead of feeling like the victim.
Right.
How to feel like a victor and move beyond any challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. And you got your start, you were a clinical psychologist, right?
Well, licensed mental health.
Licensed mental health. So you've done everything.
Licensed mental health counselor in New Jersey and Florida. In 2009, I went to be certified as a life and love coach for singles and couples. Then after that, I went for my CCTP, Certified Clinical Trauma Professional. Year 2000, I got my triple master's in applied clinical and counseling psychology. Then after that, I was licensed certified drug and alcohol counselor in Jersey, and in Florida, it's called a CAP, Certified Addictions Professional. Then after that, I went to be the SAC, Student Assistance Counselor, where I work with students of trauma, grades kindergarten all the way through college at Rowan University. I worked in their student union. And I'm an interfaith minister since 1997.
She has done everything love and life related and how it all comes together.
It all comes together.
It really does. So our last episode, we did talk about the traumas.
Yes.
But we're going to talk a little bit about them, but we're going to talk about personality traits and the difference between a narcissist and a psychopath or a sociopath, and they are different.
Yes, they're very different.
But they do
Not
get
very,
over.
They're different, but they're very important distinctions.
Right.
So just to fill them in a little bit about, why does the past influence you today as an adult, right? Well, the research shows 90% of people have at least 1 to 3 of the 10 most common childhood trauma that I identify after 19 years in private practice with my therapy and coaching clients. Okay, and trauma does stay stored in the brain and the body, but you can lessen the trauma response. The best way to describe it is the brain on trauma is always low-level anxiety. So it's like this. And then, with the methods that I use, everything just calms down. You have a much more calmer, peaceful existence. If there's a challenge in your life, you learn how to look at it instead of freaking out and reacting. You come and be proactive, not reactive.
2 different things.
Very different things, So there's a whole lot that changes within the mindset.
Right.
Okay? And when we're talking about love, people usually fall in love due to attraction, which we call chemistry. And yes, there's chemistry going on in the brain. It's a rush of dopamine, phenylalanine, serotonin when you're attracted to someone. Yes, the attraction's important, but most people stop there, and that's the problem. Okay? And it's one of the most dangerous ways to fall in love and get a steady relationship.
I think that would be a surprise to most people because they think, we have such good chemistry, or I didn't have any chemistry with this person, so, I stopped dating them, but you say that's very dangerous, really, if that's all you're going on.
What is happening is the unconscious loves what's normal and what it knows. It keeps taking you back to your past. So if you grew up with toxic relationship dynamics, either in a domestic violence situation, or if you're the opposite sex parent, like me being female, if my father was angry and toxic and, tough on my mother, then that's kind of a guy I'm going to be drawn towards. You don't know it initially. And that's the real trick.
It's subconscious. And you keep picking the same type of mate and situation over and over.
that
and over
your
again.
unconscious knows.
Right.
Okay, so that's why it's really dangerous. Okay, and most people stay stuck in the pattern of attracting toxic people because they don't know how to fix this. And this can come out as love addiction, codependency, toxic relationships, a lot of fighting, and that type of thing. So the 10 traumas we went into, and yes, you have to look at the other tape to get those.
And get a pen and paper and do the work, because
Yes,
it's important.
do the work. So the next thing I identified was the top 20 personality types that can break your heart.
20.
20.
20.
And they are identified in my #1 bestseller.
Yes.
It's 400 pages, Love Beyond Your Dreams.
This is amazing.
Break
This
free
is
of
my next
toxic
one.
relationships to have the love you deserve.
So good.
And when I wrote that, it was because of personal experience I went through, and I
Right.
needed answers, which led me to over 2 years of research and going on to trauma professional
Right.
certification. So let's go into some of the top
Yes.
20, okay? The top 2 toughest ones. The first one I call the charming con artist, and those are defined as antisocial personality disorders, and there's 2, sociopaths and psychopaths. And I'm going to go detail-oriented into what that means,
Okay.
The second one is the emotional manipulators. This is where the narcissist falls under, but they're not an antisocial personality, okay?
Wow.
The narcissist, borderline, which I mentioned last
Yep.
time, and the bipolar personality
Right.
disorders fall into the emotional manipulators. Then we have other ones, and they're just, I'm just
Yeah.
using lay language
Right.
here. So the habitual liar, someone that lies all the time, the chronic cheater, whether it's emotional cheater, just texting friends and looking for attention, or physical cheating, the angry and the critical person, someone with, both physical and emotional,
Right.
just anger,
Yeah.
poor communicators, or they're passive aggressive.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they'll
And
shut
that's bad
down.
communication. People don't realize it's not just being angry and you don't know how to verbalize. It's also being passive aggressive.
They're using it for control and to piss you off.
Yes.
Let's be blunt.
Mostly to be pissed.
So it's a form of control,
Yeah.
not talking to you.
Right.
And usually the female wants to be the communicator and work on the problem. And an evolved man, and let me describe what that means, because I say we're looking for emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love, right?
Right.
Evolved means being your highest and your best self. Okay, so being confident, self-aware, doing what's for the best of all. It's part spiritual, it's part emotional health, it's part working as a team with your partner. This is healthy relationships, okay? So being evolved is being your highest and best self. Okay, so the angry and critical are the poor communicators. Then we have the histrionic drama queen. Because everyone says, is this always about men? No.
No.
The histrionic is a female that always seeks attention, acts out. Everything has to be perfect. A poor me. Okay, that's a histrionic drama queen. And the opposite for the male is a narcissist.
Oh, okay.
They're parallel, okay?
They're parallel, okay.
And then there's the abusive, toxic person who abuses emotionally, physically, financially, sexually, verbally. There's all kinds of abuses out there. So that's a few from that list.
Wow.
Okay. So
People are like, I know everybody. Everybody I know has one of the, there's some
For sure.
level of,
Yeah.
people that have those issues.
So keep in mind that the research shows 90% of people have some childhood trauma, right? So where does the high end come from?
Right.
Right? Okay, so early signs of people that are leaning towards sociopathy or psychopathy, you're going to see juvenile delinquency, oppositional defiant in the school, hurting small animals or bullying other
Wow.
children to be mean or get control, or just so much inner anger that they have to lash it on something.
Okay.
And their minds are not mature enough to really work with
Right.
anger
Right.
unless they have like a trauma professional in the school. And I got all the angry kids.
Right, you got all the-
They were my students, right? The oppositional defiant, and I knew how to turn them around. And the bullying actually just totally stopped
Wow.
in my school,
You have to go
violent
back to the
school.
first episode and everything that
Yeah.
Rihanna did, because it was really amazing.
So I used different techniques in the
Right.
schools that really worked well. So let's go into what is the narcissist, okay? Because that is the hot word. Everyone says, oh, I
Everybody's-
have a
yeah.
narcissist, I have a narcissist. And I said, no, you probably have a sociopath. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Okay.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. There's a lot of different levels of narcissism, first of all. There's healthy narcissism.
Okay.
And then there's malignant narcissism.
Okay.
The malignant narcissist is a sociopath.
Aha.
Okay, so that's the highest level. So a healthy narcissist would be something that, like a child. It's all about me,
Okay.
do for me, I want
Right.
this, I want that. They don't think about anyone else. But developmentally wise, if they are taught what to do, right and wrong, and you do help build their self-esteem,
Right.
they will grow up to be
Healthy
confident,
adults
healthy
that- yeah.
adults, right? So that is totally fine. Then we have people that were described in my research as healthy narcissists, like Oprah. Okay.
Really?
Oprah came from severe childhood
Yes, she
trauma.
did.
Okay.
Yep.
And she focused on getting out and fixing her problems. So she was totally focused. It's about me. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Right? And this type of narcissism makes people very successful. Okay.
Aha.
And I loved her report. The first report I ever saw on childhood trauma. It was the weirdest thing. I turned the TV on, divine intervention.
Yes,
I'm spiritual.
yes.
Nothing happens as a mistake.
No, right.
And on that channel, they're like, and we're going to talk about childhood trauma. And Oprah is the host. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Finally, they're talking about this, right?
Right,
Which I've been
right.
teaching for 4 years.
Right.
So she's there. This answers so many of my questions of
Right.
what happened, right?
Right.
So of course her whole message is to help other people.
Yep.
This is a healthy narcissist.
Okay.
But she used it to survive her severe childhood
Right. And
trauma.
to learn what was happening and
Exactly.
to turn it around.
So
and
just
all
to
that,
blanket
yeah.
say they're a narcissist is not the right thing to do for
Okay,
anyone.
okay.
So the more malignant narcissist, the higher end, let's say
Yeah.
the 1 to 10 level when we're talking 8, 9, or 10. Okay. This is someone who seeks excessive admiration. They have a sense of entitlement. They hate rules. They want to break the rules so they can get ahead. They're preoccupied with the fantasies of power, success, and an ideal love or beauty. They take advantage of others for their own gain. Now, again, we're talking about malignant, right? Not the healthy narcissist. They're jealous and controlling. They lack empathy towards another person's pain. And they're extremely selfish, materialistic, and only worry about themselves. So that is more towards the higher end,
malignant, yeah.
narcissist. Now, is a sociopath worse? Yes, but here's the difference. All sociopaths and psychopaths are narcissists. So now we're going one level more dangerous.
More dangerous, and that's really what it is. It's
Okay.
dangerous, yeah.
So when people tell me some of the things they've been through by their narcissistic partner, I know what the sociopathic checklist is. And I said, no, you have a sociopath. The research showed in 2011, when I was doing my research, Martha Stout's book, The Sociopath Next Door, 1 in 25 people back then were sociopaths, according to all her research.
Wow.
Okay, and that is stated
scary.
in my book, 1 in 25. But research today is saying it's a lot more.
Wow.
You
Because it's
know.
just it's going untreated, unchecked.
People don't know about childhood trauma, they don't know how to fix it, and people are falling, it's a competitive world.
Right. Do you also feel, just because of your background, do you also feel we do not value mental health enough? That it's not being treated, we're not allowing people to go get help and
Well,
access-wise?
The really, people like me, the good psychotherapists, we're jumping ship from the insurance model.
Oh, okay.
I don't even do psychotherapy anymore. I am a coach.
Aha.
So I give a very high level of service. My people can text me, they can email me as a psychotherapist. No, they couldn't.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I have the credentials and the license, but I don't use the insurance model.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally coaching because it's a higher level of service to help my people who've been
Right.
hurt by people like this, right?
And it's not just the person who may be the narcissist, it's the people who are continually getting in these relationships, right?
Well, those
Who
are the
need
people,
help.
I treat the victims because the sociopath never wants to go to therapy.
That's right.
They never go.
Nothing's
The
wrong with
only-
them.
That's right. The only reason they go is if the person says, that's it, you're out, I'm done with you, and they finally think, wow, I guess she's serious now. Okay, I'll go into therapy with her. They go once or twice, they try to schmooze the therapist, I'm just sitting there, and I tell my client ahead of time, look, he's going to be so charming
Right.
and think he's snowing me. Believe me, I got his MO.
You know his number.
I'm just going to be very polite.
Right.
But, he probably won't come back after a second session. Or I had a couple come in, she goes, you're the 7th therapist we're trying. I'm like, I figured that.
That's a telltale sign that maybe
Yeah,
it's not
because
working out.
They don't want them to know their BS, right?
Right. And
a
they
good
know you're going to point it
therapist
out.
that specializes in narcissism and sociopathy will
Right.
see it immediately. But they only do it for a Band-Aid to try and get you back.
obviously.
Okay, so let's go into the signs of a sociopath,
Yes.
which is also the con artist. Okay, so like we mentioned, the Dirty John movie, which is based
Yes.
on a true story. And there's other good movies. I just got done watching the whole Versace story
Oh, I haven't seen that. I heard that was really good, too.
about a psychopath.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a true story. And then there's on the Netflix the series You.
Yeah, that's a new one
That's
out
really
right
good.
now.
I
That's
saw
really
that
good,
one,
yeah.
and they're all really textbook.
Okay.
Okay, how these people act. So sociopaths, the major thing I want you to remember, they use people for pleasure or profit.
Pleasure or profit, remember
They
that.
use people,
Okay.
okay, with no remorse. They will never
Right.
apologize.
Okay.
Don't wait for the apology. It'll never come. So they're master manipulators and con artists. So their whole MO is around being devious, cunning, and they want to con you. So they're outright cruel.
Right.
Okay? They're jealous and controlling. They isolate their partner from their family and friends because they don't want the family and friend to say, look, he's no good or she's
And that's
no good.
a telltale sign. If somebody is insisting,
Don't see your
don't see your
girlfriends,
friends, don't
see
go to your
family.
parents, don't go here, and it starts out slow, and then all of a sudden
yeah.
you're alienated from everybody who cares, who can really tell you
Yes.
what's going on, right?
Yeah, they expect perfection in you, their mate, their partner. They're very impulsive. They're usually prone to several addictions. One is usually always sex addiction, alcohol.
Wow.
Then there's either pills or cocaine or something else to self-medicate. They're ruthless, emotionless. They have no remorse, like I said. They're moody, very difficult and demanding, lack consciousness. They don't care if they hurt you. They crave money, status, and power, and they use others to get it. They're a loner. They usually have no friends, and if they have one friend or two, they're usually subservient to them.
And that's something it's a red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got like a lot of friends and healthy relationships, and you get into a relationship with somebody who
And has no friends.
doesn't
that's
really have a
red
lot of
flag.
friends, it's something
Yes.
to think about, yeah.
Yes, and or they're also equally toxic, that friend.
Aha.
Okay. Inconsistent and poor work history.
Okay.
You know, they keep changing jobs or they get fired. Early behavioral problems, the juvenile delinquency, adult criminal records, usually mostly PFAs, which are protection from abuse or stalking,
Wow.
trespassing orders. They often will change their name if they can, of course. Fast marriages to a wealthy person. So, when I hear somebody says, well, he wanted to marry me in 2 months, he's crazy about me. I said, or he's just crazy.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
because that's a big red flag.
that's a huge red flag. Who do you know in a few months?
Yeah, but they're like the best behavior.
Right.
Like I said, the Dirty John, that he did
Yeah.
that. And I said, this is textbook. This is so classic.
Right.
He's
He's the perfect guy, right? The
Yeah.
perfect person. He's waiting for all my life.
so
yeah.
everyone's like, oh my gosh, finally. And then it falls apart.
falls apart.
Once there's an obligation, so that's living together, engagement, or marriage.
Okay.
That's when they usually start
Hence,
falling
don't
apart.
run into those
Or
things,
a child
right?
is born of this couple.
Okay.
So the difference of the psychopath, he is the sociopath who kills.
Oh. Okay.
That is the difference. And that is the highest
That's
level
the highest
of devious.
level. Okay.
Then sociopath, then narcissist.
And there's levels of narcissism.
And there's levels of narcissism. But
Wow.
most people that complain that they have a narcissistic, really toxic boyfriend is sociopath.
And how important, especially the people that you work with, for them to know this?
It's really
For
important.
dating, just for dating purposes
Yeah.
alone, how important in today's society with online dating. We were having a really big discussion off camera with my friend here, and I'm not jazzed. I'm not crazy about online dating. I think that it's just not.
Well, as you know,
Yes.
I'm going to talk Friday at the International iDate Conference, which is internet dating
Yeah.
conference where all the bigwigs will be there. And I am presenting this information and also some solutions where they can help their members be safer. So
And
I
that's such a
think
big
they should
thing.
have a trauma professional
Yeah.
on call in case somebody is conned. They should have experts on file. They should, really
It's not
do a
just
background check on everyone. Are they who they say
Right,
they are?
Right, and that's the thing. When you start
Yeah.
swiping, you're not really getting, in my opinion, the real meat of, of an individual.
My coaching clients know certain things they need to do to be safe, ask the questions, what questions to ask. For
And-
example, if they have their phone conversation, before that even happens, well, may I have your last name? If they don't give a last name, you don't have even a phone conversation, let alone
Right.
go out on a date. If they say, well, what's it matter? We're just meeting. No.
No.
If why not look you up online? As soon as you get that second name, you do look them up
Right,
online.
of course.
If they say they own a business, you look them up on LinkedIn. I mean, you got to do your homework.
In today's age, I feel that we need to, and that's why it is so important to be that healthy person who recognizes these
Yeah.
things and knows what to ask
Exactly.
before you just start dating. Because then it's just a bunch of unhealthy, hurt people trying to get together,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
really what it is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So you got to know what you're looking
Yes.
for. So then, a lot of people say, well, Rihanna, how do people get conned by a sociopath?
Right.
Like the lady in the movie, she's an architect.
Right, we're smart,
wealthy.
yeah, independent women
Yeah.
that like got it going on, and you think, how in the world can this happen?
Because they go after good people. And they go after wealth. All right.
People with a good heart, good
good-hearted
people standing
people.
in the community, yeah.
Because they will forgive.
Right.
They'll give you second chances. They will help you look good. If you're out in the community, then that's the way they get to meet higher ups in the community too, through
Wow.
you. And then once things start getting bad, if you're married by this point, you're trying to keep the peace for the family and the kids and keep the family
Right.
together so you hang in there longer. Or, some people are financially dependent on that partner, so they
Right.
stay longer.
Wow.
You hear a lot, especially like on Dr. Phil, well, I loved him, and he told me he would change, so they believe that.
Love is a very small part of it, isn't it? I feel like it's just if you don't have these other things, if you're not healed, then
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyone with abandonment issues
Right.
usually has love addiction.
and that
So
goes
it's
back to the
really-
10
goes
traumas
back
that you
to the
need to
10
go back and
traumas.
look. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really that leads to the love addiction where, and eventually they can't take it anymore. And then they break up, they get them out of the house, whatever. And then they find a way to come back in. If you give them a sliver of hope, whether it's a text or a phone call, these predators live on hope. You have to stop all contact. If they bother you, the last message is, if you bother me one more time, I'm getting protection from abuse. Now, I do help my people set up a system of protection that's been researched, and they know what to do. I'm not going to say
No.
on here, but they do have a system of protection in place, and they know what to do.
Okay.
But if they give them any hope, this pattern keeps going.
It's just a cycle.
It's a cycle.
It's a vicious cycle.
And they seek out, people who are rescuers, helpers, teachers, counselors, nurses.
Empathetic, compassionate type of humans, or
I wouldn't say pathetic at all.
no, empathetic.
Oh, empathetic.
Empathetic,
Yes, yes. Empathetic, kind, loving, giving, helping people, spiritual people. They show in the movie, this lady went to church, had a nice family bond, good mom, kind, gentle personality type. I mean, I'm like, that's why I said it was so textbook. Yeah, so base. But all of this is based in childhood trauma. So if you don't heal your trauma and you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know the questions to ask, then you're it's a scary dating world for you.
And you have to be very specific.
You have to be very specific. You have to know what to do. And unfortunately, nobody taught this stuff.
No one taught how to
nobody
date
taught any
or
of this.
anything, and most
No.
people aren't healed anyway. So then, just going into dating is probably like the worst thing you could do without.
Yeah. And
knowing.
all of my clients say, Rihanna, I've been in therapy 6-7 years, going to 6-7 therapists. Not any of this has come out. So it's a
Right.
very specialized thing that I do, and I do it around the world. I help people globally.
It helps all your
So-
relationships. It's not just your romantic.
It
I think it
does.
strengthens your friendships and your business relationships because
Yes.
you're a more healthy, confident human being.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about some success strategies.
Okay.
How you can kind of stop attracting this type of person too.
Yeah, well, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And there's certain things that we do in the coaching portion to help rid your life of any problems or cheap drama.
Right.
And we get you to be a successful single first. You have to be there before you start dating.
Right.
That's my number one rule. So,
And going to from relationship to relationship to relationship without healing is dangerous too.
Oh, yeah, because you're just stuck in the cycle.
Yeah.
We have a saying, we'd rather be single than settle.
That is my line. I love that
Are you gonna
line.
use
I
that line? Here
love
you go,
that.
girl.
Yes. Love that. Right? Because life is short. Why would
That's
you
it.
settle and
That's
not
it.
have everything that you deserve? Hence the life and love you deserve.
That's
right?
it, the love you deserve. So you've got to love yourself first. So
Yeah.
that's healing the childhood trauma. Then getting educated and knowing exactly what to do to attract emotionally healthy love, right? Getting rid of any negativity or cheap drama in your life. That means if you don't get along with your mom, your brother, your sister, we heal that.
Okay.
Your kids, many people come to me, have kids very angry because they're stuck in that cycle with you and either a boyfriend or a husband or
Right,
wife.
they're seeing that.
They're seeing that, so they're angry, and we have to solve those
Right.
issues. Another one is you have to show up and really be yourself. Like, don't put on a front. However, the 5-second rule in dating really applies. In other words, show up looking sharp.
Right.
Be dressed nice. Have your hair and makeup done right, ladies. You know, men, don't wear a crinkled shirt and show up in shorts and sneakers. Like, seriously.
Right.
Because the more successful and powerful a woman is, more successful woman has more choices. So she's choosing from a lot of guys, too. And, just going to the brain science a minute, caveman brain, the old reptilian brain, is geared to want attraction to procreate the race.
Yeah.
So their number one need, whether they want it or not, consciously or unconsciously, you got to look good. In 5 seconds, they decide if they want to know you inside after that. So the attraction factor, we call it the 5-second attraction factor.
Okay.
Very important for the male. The female, like I said, is becoming more important. They used to say, well, if he's a good guy and be a good father, then that would be the guy I marry, but it's more important too. But the bottom line is that the cavewoman brain wants security. So even she could be successful in her own right.
Right.
She wants a man who makes her even feel more secure.
Right.
Otherwise, she doesn't need him.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that's cavewoman brain, and it's reptilian. So the 5-second rule does apply there. Know the questions to ask on your date. That's item number
like
3.
if you know nothing else, know the right questions to ask and be okay.
They're
if
in
it
the book.
doesn't match up, get these books. If it doesn't match up, it's okay you don't need to be in that
That's right.
relationship. You don't need to cling on to that,
That's right.
right?
And when you know the childhood trauma piece and you're coached through that, then you also know, okay, 90% of people have childhood trauma.
Right.
Okay, so I may not find one of the 10%, but have they worked on themselves?
Right.
Or is it showing up? Like I had a woman on her first date, the guy said, I got to go visit my mom in the retirement home. She was an alcoholic the whole time I grew up, but, I can't wait till she's gone. She's just a headache for me right now. That's what we call a mother hater.
That's a red flag.
That's a huge red flag.
And you have to listen to what's being said
That's
and
right.
not being said too.
Because he wants love, so he'll be good to you in the beginning, but he will never respect you and cherish you as a woman because he didn't respect or cherish the first woman in his life.
Wow.
Which was his mom. So that we call a mother hater. I forgot to tell you that one.
See, that Rihanna's just going to come back. Every month we're going to have Rihanna back.
More.
There's so much to cover, and that's the thing.
I should tell you about Peter Pan Man, too.
Peter Pan Man.
Yeah.
We're going to have her back and talk about all these different scenarios.
And then there's the mama's boy.
Right.
Who always put mother first.
Which is dangerous, too.
Peter Pan Man is a frat boy that never grows up. Always wants to hang with the boys, drink beer, and come on to women to prove like he's the tough guy on campus. Okay. Success strategies. So you have to know the things you should never say or do on the first date. So you never talk negative. You don't bring up, so if they even ask you, so what happened in your last marriage? You don't tell a long story.
Wow.
If one of your kids is struggling with something, you don't bring up problems. You definitely don't send sexy pictures. If you're asked for sexy pictures, guess how many other women they're asking?
Right.
You got a toxic guy right there.
I never understood that. I mean, but I know a lot of people have done that. That's like a big thing on the internet.
If they say, send me a picture, send yourself a headshot or in a nice cocktail dress. If they say, what? And it's like, what? You mean you want something different? Then they're not for you. That's a sleazeball right there.
Ladies.
Because I'm
telling you, Rihanna's right, and that you're not the only one. If they feel comfortable asking you, they're going to be asking other people.
That's right, and you don't know where those shots are going to end up.
That's the other thing in today's world. Nothing's private anymore.
Nothing's
you have to take care of yourself. You have to really kind of.
Yep. So the last thing, can people fix love addiction, codependency, or their attraction to a toxic person? Yes. That's what
with Rihanna's help, I'm telling you. And I mean, who wouldn't? I think the fact that you also work with singles to get them healthy for a relationship is so key, because it's usually just couple talk.
I do both.
Yeah.
I do couples and I do singles looking for love. My oldest client's 73. Right now I'm working with an 18-year-old out of high school that was panicked about going to college, didn't know what she wanted to do. Grew up, she was adopted. Then the father had an affair, left the family.
There's a lot of
she
stuff
was
there.
angry. So there's a lot of things there. She excelled in her first term. She now is going to be an interior designer. She got a job at the top interior design showroom in Texas.
Nice.
At 18 years old.
And I want to bring that up because if you want to work with Riana, you can work with her from anywhere. You don't have to be in South Florida, which is great
I'm
because
global.
you're global. So anyway, guys, you got to pick up these books, please, because these were phenomenal books.
Thank you.
And I love you. I think you're amazing with everything
thanks,
that you
Nicole.
do, and you're definitely going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
You're definitely going to come back because it's so important. Reach out to Riana, rianamilne.com. I'll link all her stuff below.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. See you later at the hub. Bye.
Bye.